Well, hello there. Welcome to the hard sell, where the stick rattles back. And today, as you can see, we're visiting America, the land of the whatever and home of the thing, for a special apple pie flavoured.
Have a break.
America, 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 America.
The sole remaining superpower, although that's changing by the minute. The most important country on earth. A terrifying living shrine to capitalism without restraints or morals. The nation which will probably be at the centre of whatever it is that ultimately dooms mankind. The States. They've had commercial television longer than we have, although the BBC is older than any of them. Everything in America is sponsored, it's the American way. Our history of television advertising starts in 1955. Theirs goes all the way back to the pre-war days. Well, their pre-war days anyway. Specifically 1941. When the very first ever TV ad was transmitted on what's now the New York affiliate of NBC. It consisted of a single shot of a clock superimposed on one of the station's test cards, ticking away for a full minute to advertise Bulova watches. But small acorns and little big trees, or whatever, and our adverts today come from almost exactly 30 years ago, May 1988, and an NBC Movie of the Week. You may recognise the title animation from the B-Sky B incarnation of the movie channel, which was basically identical.
This is the movie channel.
I'm not sure what NBC affiliate this is, but the movie in question is Annie, for what it's worth. America's dairy farmers and the US Dairy Council tended to have a more proactive, even aggressive approach than our milk marketing board, to the point of being downright eerie.
What girl's gonna go for me with a body like this?
Hang in there, Tom. I'm you 2 years from now, 'cause you're drinking milk and working out.
Well, I'm not changing so far.
But milk's at work inside you.
Oh, yeah?
And tomorrow the difference can show. All that protein for muscle and calcium for bones.
But I'm still a skinny bench warmer.
Hey, if the sight of yourself at 18 doesn't convince you, Tom, listen to your senior year girlfriend.
Hi, Tom. I'm waiting.
Milk. It does a body good.
Yes, sir, with just milk, exercise, and a shitload of patience, by the time you're 18, you'll be a slab of meat with a tousled trophy blonde. Now drink your goddamn milk!
I'm waiting.
But this one is much better adjusted. A simple, illustrated song about the white stuff's health benefits. Very similar to the contemporaneous campaign in this country.
Everybody needs bubble equals protein, bubble essential vitamins, bubble equals calcium.
Except that the American one is suffused with deep South imagery.
Come on, everybody, do that kick. Health kick, milk's that kick. We're all on a health kick, so come on, y'all. Milk's vitamins and calcium are part of it all.
Whether this is local targeting or just an aesthetic preference, I don't know, but it's quite thorough. You got the fiddler, you got the straw-hatted gentleman, you got the paddle boat on the mighty Mississippi, you got the artillery raiding good old Southern hell upon the Yankee oppressors, all that good stuff. No, really, they stopped for a second to fire off some cannons.
Milk's vitamins and calcium are part of it all.
Okay, it's an artillery salute rather than full-blown treason in defence of slavery, but it's still startling. It startled me.
Way down south today, there's just one thing to say: America's favorite health kick milk.
If that one was straightforward, this next one is just a few stages above, the advertiser simply hitting you on the head and rubbing your face in the logo. Yes, surfing, gnarly hang-tan, eternal sun. Oh, boogie boarding. Okay, that's cool. I mean, I prefer boogie boarding to surfing because I'm a massive pussy, but you're an advert. I mean, there's no reason for you to cop to massive pussy. In fact, it's actually better in terms of what you actually want to do if you don't. But, okay, boogie boarding it is.
Jump on your boogie board, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya.
Actually, I think you're better off having the juicy fruit in place before you go onto the water. Maybe I'm being a buzzkill or something. Maybe that's what makes it extreme. Trying to unwrap and start chewing whilst hanging 5 or whatever the boogie boarding equivalent is. Boogie boarding, really?
Take a sniff, pull it out.
First up, who sniffs their gum at any stage of the process? Second up, imagine a distracted blind person, unfamiliar with this advert, who just tuned in immediately before this line.
Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move you when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit.
Oh, it's juicy fruit. Thank God for that. No, I don't want to tell you what I was thinking. That, oi.
Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It juices soft, it gets right to ya. Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
Which dog has a flea collar?
I have actually seen adverts for flea collars and the like, but not very often. And exclusively in the afternoon during random black and white movies on Channel 4 or Country Practice on ITV, when only the old, sick and unemployed are watching. I'm saying it's not a massive deal for the advertising industry.
They all do, but only the middle dog has the Scratch X 11-month flea collar from Sulfadine. With twice the flea-killing power, so it keeps working long after these others quit.
This does help to illustrate one of those differences between America and Britain, in that their adverts are allowed to name names. Scratch X, good name, cheers, thanks, can specifically call Hertz and Sergeants a bunch of useless twats who are rubbish, without having to resort to a generic box labelled other leading brand or whatever, which is what they do over here. It's much more British and civilised that way. No need to get personal, after all. Of course, the American companies do still need to show a modicum of working.
The Scratch X flea killer is government approved to work 11 months, not 5 months like Hearts and Sergeants.
Government approved to be better than those assholes! Fuck them!
Scratch X kills ticks too, yet it's safe for a 3-month-old puppy. For cats...
Yes, we know what a cat is and we know what sound it makes. Jesus, if Americans were talked down to on this level 30 years ago... Let's just say it explains a lot.
There's a Scratch X collar too.
Don't be so mean to your hair, baby, get hot.
Don't be so mean to your hair. Kind of a threatening stance to take, really, and if you follow the line of thinking, which I acknowledge you're not supposed to do, it suggests that not having what society deems to be fabulous hair all of the time is actively immoral. Obviously no one's really suggesting that, but they're using language to frame it that way and, they hope, sort of usher the viewer in the general direction of that conclusion.
VO5 hot oil treatment. 1 minute, once a week to help undo the mean things you do every day.
Every day! Every day you do these mean things. Why must you be so cruel as to do these unspecified things to your own hair?
So hair looks healthy, radiant, ooh, hot. Get hot! VO5 Hot Oil.
Around here, we like things simple.
Welcome in jam. I mean jelly. No, fuck you, I mean jam.
Like Smucker's Simply Fruit. It's just fruit, spreadable fruit. Freshness you can taste in 6 just-picked flavors.
Ah, the classic, we're just simple folk making our product the old-fashioned way set up. America loves it.
Whoop! Timmy, I got some delivery today. Pepperidge Farm wheat bread. Bread like it used to be. Baked fresh with no artificial preservatives. Made with real cracked wheat, molasses, honey, and no artificial preservatives. Try Pepperidge Farm wheat bread. It's bread like it used to be. 'Cause Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Bullshit! This is Pepperidge Farm. This is how it's made. Fuck your straw hat. I suppose I could give Smuckers some credit for trying to stick to the rustic aesthetic with their jam factory, but it's still a jam factory.
Smucker's Simply Fruit.
I like that slogan, though. It's not clear precisely what the implication is, but it's definitely something to do with the fact that it's actually humanly impossible to say that name without lapsing into that exact down-home Andy Devine sort of voice. Smuckers. Smuckers brand jam. For people who like to keep things simple. Smuckers. It's shamelessly, almost arrogantly manipulative, really. You could say almost anything in that Andy Devine voice, backed with Mantovani strings and shots of backlit nature, and it would sound homely and cosy, no matter how horrifying the words actually were. What? A people has intrinsic value in its race. That is the primal value. A people that has the best blood but does not understand it, squandering it, receives no protection for its intrinsic value. And the purity of blood means nothing if the nation can be persuaded of the absurdity that its blood is worthless. See?
Smucker's Simply Fruit.
Here's another example of American advertising's tendency to be more nakedly confrontational. No, it's not a Coke advert.
Ow!
The Cola Wars, which were all but an armed conflict, were cooling off by 1988 to a sort of armistice. In the early 80s, Pepsi started overtaking Coke for the first time, scaring the shit out of the real thing, and causing the infamous recipe change that very nearly led to bloodshed on the streets, but which also brought Coke back in charge of the market again once the dust had settled. To this day, no one's sure if New Coke was a colossal disastrous mistake or a work of diabolical marketing reverse psychology genius.
The truth is, we're not that dumb, and we're not that smart.
Either way, Pepsi ultimately lost out because one way or another, fewer people were talking about them. Still, it's not like plucky Lil Pepsi are some sort of family-run enterprise out of a small holding in New England, like Pepperidge Farm also weren't. They've done okay for themselves over the years, so don't spare any sympathy for them or anything.
Ow, hot, hot, hot.
Ooh. This seems like a disturbing metaphor for Middle America itself. People inflicting actual pain and physical harm upon themselves for the sake of a glass of sugary brown carbonated liquid because it has the right logo slapped on it. America's choice indeed.
See this new pleated bag? Only Ziploc makes it.
Yay, it's Dom DeLuise. Everyone loves a big fat camp Italian. I mean, there are even people who still vote for Silvio Berlusconi.
It has a wide bottom, so it's a zip to fill, and it holds more.
Ordinary household goods. Again, not prime meat for advertisers, but they need selling too. Again, in this country at least, this is the sort of thing you'd expect to see pitched at you during Loose Women these days, or at that time, I don't know, some long-forgotten, vaguely brown Antipodean soap opera like Sons and Daughters, I expect.
Like 52 of your meatballs, or one of mine.
He's fat.
One of mine.
New Ziploc brand pleated bags.
The golden age of TV advertising by pricks. But watching these was a useful illustration of the fact that that phrase really only applies to Britain, where we had frustrated South Bank artist types like Charles Saatchi and Anthony Simmons Gooding creating and commissioning the damn things, and hiring directors like Hugh Hudson and Ridley Scott to make them. Plus they had a much smaller, more concentrated market to focus on. In the sprawl of America, the kind of sophistication introduced over here by those North London auteurs took a bit longer to mix in. Not that this isn't all a massive oversimplification, of course. But we like to think of America as less sophisticated than us, and to an extent they are, which I personally attribute, at least in part, to the influence of neoliberalism, neoconservatism and the military-industrial complex in general, with its vested interest in keeping the population under its control, undereducated, ignorant and constantly consuming. But let's not forget that the last time British people took to the streets it was to nick trainers and smartphones and smash things. Physician, heal thy own huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
America, 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 the States. The States, America, America.
Hey you lovely people, thank you for watching. Do you want to see these things a week before anyone else? Do you want access to even more video essays, random musings, and absurdist close-down based humour? Do you want to read and help shape my new book about the history of the British Broadcasting Corporation? Do you want me to continue to have food and shelter? Well, consider that one a bonus. Support me on Patreon now. Only good can come of it. I promise.